Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gauraki Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sure Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming here, taking out your valuable time and being a part of this event. Really grateful to Radhan Prabhu and the management of Bhaktivedanta Mission, Bhaktivedanta Gurukul here in Vrindavan for organizing this. They have been so kind to me and they have been so inspired by this curriculum that they put up this whole event together, inviting all of you all. In the next 1 hour, we are going to discuss something that potentially can change the future of your school and potentially can change the future of all the children that come to your school. I highly recommend all of you all for the next 1 hour, please switch off your mobile phones, please keep them on silent mode inside and completely focus on what I need to say for the next 1 hour. What you're going to get today is not only a curriculum that will help you teach values to your children, but it will also give you a lot of direction about the way you should handle your school and the understanding of education per se. Okay? And especially because all of you all are located in the land of Mathura and Vrindavan, this is even more relevant. I have made these presentations in many forums. I've spoken in Mumbai, to a group of about 50-60 principals. I've spoken in Pune to a group of about 70-80 principals. And the vibrations of Vrindavan is very different from what you can get in the cities like Bombay and Pune. So I'm hoping that the way you reciprocate and the way you understand the value of this curriculum is also going to be very different from what we can expect in a metro city in India. Value education stems from the word education. The word education means essentially 3 things. If you say that you are educators, if you say that you are imparting education to children, what does it mean? It essentially means 3 things. Education means knowledge, skills, and values. Most schools and colleges today are giving people knowledge and skills. But unfortunately, there is hardly any emphasis on the third pillar of education, which is values. Just like this tripod stands on 3 legs, without the third leg, the tripod will fall. On 2 legs, the tripod can't stand. Similarly, education stands on 3 legs: knowledge, skills, and values. Almost every single school and college today is teaching knowledge and skills. But somewhere, most educators feel values children should learn on their own. Values parents should teach. Values, social media will teach. Come on. The most powerful pillar of education, we are leaving it for somebody else to figure out. We're leaving it for children to figure it out on their own. And therefore, we're creating a system of education which is an incomplete system of education. India has great potential. 30% of doctors in America are Indians. 12% of scientists across the world are Indians. 36% of NASA scientists are Indians. 34% of Microsoft employees are Indians. 12% of people working in Intel are Indians. US, so basically, India is known for a lot of things. And of all the many things that India is known for, one of the most important things India is known for, its indigenous way of dealing with problems. India has its own unique way of dealing with problems in life. Many years back, I was traveling in a train and I was in a second class compartment and I was traveling with a group of people from Bombay to Calcutta, a 36-hour journey. And one person in our group was a young boy from America, first time come to India. Absolutely no experience of India and no experience of traveling in Indian trains. And unfortunately, it was summertime. And this guy was sweating like crazy. He never experienced such heat in his life. And he kept looking at that fan in the train. And the fan was not rotating, obviously. He tried to put it on and off, and nothing was happening. And he looked at me helplessly. And he said, what do I do? How do I manage a 36-hour journey? So much sweating, fan is not working. And suddenly, one of our devotees stood up on the train chair, train seat, and he took out his comb and hit the fan. He hit it 2 or 3 times, and the fan started rotating. And this guy was shocked. He said, how did you make it happen? This fellow said, static electricity from the comb, India is known for jugaad. It's a very interesting way of looking at life. I'm going to show you some very interesting Indian innovations. Look at this. For slippers in temples. Indian innovation. This technology only exists in India. How these guys are cooking. See? Look at this fellow. What a level of innovation. Mercedes Benz with him on a table. Look at this lady. She's figured out a way to carry a small kid safely with her. And what do you call this? This level of transportation. You cannot find this kind of transportation anywhere in the world. How do people manage these numbers in a small, truck? And look at this. A truck transporting a train. And this lady is the height of what marketing is. She's selling samosas and vadas on the moon. Look at the background, This is what India is. India is known for what is called as Desi Jugaad. But if you ever wonder, where do Indians get so much innovation from? Why do you think Indians are employed everywhere in the world? Because innately, Indians have the ability to solve problems. It's a very natural ability in Indians. And where does it come from? That is what we are here to discuss. Let me tell you a story before we get into that. There was a man who found a golden brick. This brick was made of pure gold. And this guy loved it. It was the costliest and the most valuable thing he ever found in his life. So this fellow went to the backyard of his house, dug up a hole and buried this golden brick in it and closed it up. The next day, he came at the same time, dug it open, looked at the brick, admired it very much, put it back and closed it. Every single day he would come, dig open this brick, admire it and put it back in and close it. One day, a wise man observed this guy, every day digging out a golden brick and admiring it and giving it back. This wise man, he stole this brick out. He removed this brick and replaced it with an iron brick. So the next day when this fellow came, dug it out, and he saw an iron brick instead of his gold brick, he started crying. He said, I lost my gold brick, somebody has stolen it. He was really frustrated and angry. That time this wise man came out and gave him his golden brick. And he told him, For you, what difference it makes whether it is a brick of gold or a brick of iron? You're not using it anyways. You're only digging it up, looking at it, admiring it, putting it back in, isn't it? Similarly, most of us are like this man who has a golden brick. Especially those who are connected to Bharat Bhumi, the land of India. Especially those who are sitting in Mathura and Vrindavan. It's like having a golden brick in your hand. But unfortunately, we dig it up once in a year. Janmashtami comes, we remove the golden brick and say, wow, very nice culture, put it back in. And then Diwali comes, we again remove the golden brick and we admire it, wow, put it back in. Only when a festival comes, we suddenly remember our culture. And then we just put it back in. The gold that all of us have is not the external aspect of India. The actual gold that is there in India is in the knowledge system that India has. What the government is trying to propagate today as Indian knowledge system, what we are all trying to understand. People all over the world would come to India. Why? They would think India is a sone ki chidiya, right? It's a golden bird. But actually, what is it in India that makes it a golden bird? The thing that is there in India which actually makes it so powerful, which gives us the ability to deal with any problems, which gives us an edge over any other country in the world, any other culture in the world, is the knowledge that we all have. Unfortunately, the knowledge is like a golden brick that is buried and kept. It is in closets. It's covered in red velvet. Unfortunately, most people don't know how to use that knowledge in today's life. The knowledge is valuable. What is there in the Gita, what is there in the Ramayana, what is there in the Mahabharata, what is there in the Bhagavad, they are all valuable stuff, but inaccessible to a common man. And that is why we felt it is time to bring out that gold that is there in the land of India in a package that is very accessible to a common man, in a style that is very, very practically applicable. So what we came up with is a very interesting thought process, which is to teach a curriculum that is taught in a very inspiring way. If you want to motivate anyone, there are 4 ways to motivate people. The first way to motivate people is through fear. This is the first level of motivation. It's called fear-based motivation. A lot of schools, a lot of teachers, a lot of principals, a lot of leaders inspire people to do things out of fear. If you don't do this, then you will fail. If you don't do this, then this will happen to you. So it's called fear-based motivation. In fact, people worship God also out of fear. If I don't worship, then something bad will happen to me. So this is the first level of motivation to do anything in life. The second level of motivation is called reward. Reward means asha. That means I do something because I get something. A child who is going to study because he is going to get a cycle if he gets first, that's simply a reward-based motivation. Many parents motivate their children to study because of due to some rewards. Schools, principals, teachers inspire kids to study out of a need for reward. Fear and reward are external motivations. These are called extrinsic sources of motivation. For fear and reward to work, it has to be given constantly. The day you stop, it stops motivating you. You stop, creating fear, they stop feeling motivated. You stop giving rewards, they stop feeling motivated. Extrinsic motivation is creating externally motivated kids. For them to be motivated, you have to keep putting the pressure on and on and on and on. This is not a long-lasting motivation. The third level of motivation is called duty-bound motivation, where you inspire people to do because they have a sense of duty. That means I am a good citizen simply because I love my country. I don't spit here and there, not because nobody is seeing me, not because I have to pay a fine if I spit, but because I love my country. That's called duty. A sense of duty comes from within. It doesn't come from outside. A reward and fear comes from outside. But a sense of duty comes from inside. When you create students, when you create children who have a sense of duty inside them, you don't have to run behind them to follow rules and regulations. You don't have to run behind them to tell them you can't do this and you must do this. Somewhere within them, they have a strong sense of duty of what is right and what is wrong. But duty is also not the highest level of motivation. Duty is definitely higher than reward, it's much higher than fear, but duty is not the highest level of motivation. The highest level of motivation is love. Love-based motivation is when a child studies a subject because he loves that subject. When a child comes to school because he or she loves to come to school. A child is inspired by a teacher not because of fear, not because the teacher gives me some appreciation or some rewards, and not even out of love, out of a sense of duty, but because I love that teacher. Creating an education system which is based on love is a very powerful motivator. If you actually study the land of India, the land of India is originally based on love. S. Gurumurthy, who is one of the very prominent economists of India, he studied Indian economy for the last 3,000 years. And after his study of 3,000 years of Indian economy, his understanding is that India was the leading economy for thousands of years in the past. And one of the reasons why India is a leading economy for so many years, was because Indians follow what is called as family-based business. If you go to many of the cities even today, like for example, you go to Surat, even today in Surat, most of the people who are into diamond business, they all know each other. In fact, there is a street in Surat, the entire street, every shop, all diamond merchants. And interestingly, when they transport diamonds from one shop to another, one place to another within Surat, they carry diamonds worth hundreds of crores of rupees in plastic bags. Will you have the guts to carry a diamond ring in a plastic bag? Or hundreds of kilos of diamonds it's insane to even think of it, right? Where do these people have the guts to carry so much diamond in a plastic bag? Simply because they know that everyone knows each other, trusts each other, and loves each other. That's all. India was known for that. In fact, there was a British Indologist named Max Muller. He was given charge of traveling around India and figuring out how to break Indian faith. He was given a task of doing this. This guy traveled around the length and breadth of India for 4 years. After 4 years of traveling the length and breadth of India, this is during the British era, just 150 years before. And this, what I'm telling you, is there in the British Gazettes. You can read it. Max Muller, after 4 years of traveling the length and breadth of India, he came to a conclusion. He said, in my 4 years of traveling the length and breadth of India, I have not come across one thief and one dishonest person. Can you imagine India? Today's India, every second person you will start doubting, right? And this guy is saying, I traveled 4 years the length and breadth of India and I have not come across one dishonest person and one person who is a thief. And then you know what he said? And the reason he gave why these guys are so honest and having so much of integrity, he said because every one of them read Ramayana and Mahabharata. He said if we have to break India, we have to break their faith in what is theirs. The British Indologists did not change Ramayana and Mahabharata. They only used one word and they called it mythology. That's it. Just by coining that word mythology, they broke all our faith. Today, all of us use the word mythology so naturally, right? What does mythology mean? Mythology means fiction. But Ramayana Mahabharata in our country actually originally in Sanskrit is called as Itihas. What is the meaning of the word Itihas? Itihasa means as it happened. It happened like this. That's what the meaning of the word Itihas is. They did not change everything. They only changed that one word. And then we have completely lost the whole plot. Right? So, when we inspire youngsters to look at the world at the level of faith, to look at the world at the level of a deeper insight, look at the world with a different lens, we are actually inspiring them to look at a completely different way of looking at life. There are two ways of looking at what success is in life. The external way of looking at success is all the things that so-called people think is success. That means the type of car that you drive, the place where you have a house, the size of your house, the size of your bank balance, the position that you have, the kind of place that you work, all this is called as public victory. Public victory means what the world thinks about you. Today, every single person, when they judge the success of their children, of the students who pass out from their schools, the parameter with which they judge is public victory. Whether this child has become an IAS officer, IPL officer, whether this child has become a CEO of a company, whether this child has made a certain net worth, all of that is one way of looking at success of an individual. It doesn't matter 10 years down the line that child becomes the next Vijay Mallya. It doesn't matter whether the child gets into the next big scam in the world. That doesn't matter. Net worth utna hona chahiye. That's called public victory. But there's another way of looking at success in life. The other way of looking at success in life is understood by a very simple definition. How many things you have in life that money can't buy? How many things you have in life that money can't buy? Money can buy a lot of things, but money can't buy a few things. Money can't buy relationships. Money can't buy happiness. Money can't buy peace. Money can't buy sleep. Money can't buy contentment. Money can't buy satisfaction. There are so many things that money can't buy. Having all those things that money can't buy determines whether you are having what is called as private victory. Public victory means what the world thinks about you. Private victory means what you think about yourself. Many of the children are become extremely successful publicly. But unfortunately, a lot of youngsters become failures privately. And that is why you see the maximum suicide rates among youngsters is so high today. The number of youngsters today taking drugs, the number of youngsters today giving up on their jobs and really pathetically failing in so many levels of their relationships, simply because somewhere inside them they don't know how to live life. Now, who is responsible for that? Who is responsible for creating children who are internally a failure? Externally successful, internally failure. Now, this is what I call as smiling faces, crying hearts. You ask everyone, how are you? Big smile on the face, I'm fine. But inside, miserable. And therefore, somewhere, someone has to do something to change the way children live their lives, to change the way we look at priorities in life, to change the way we teach children about the priorities of life. If we sitting in this room, between all of you all sitting in this room, you all have at least close to about 20 to 30,000 kids under you all. I can maybe even 50 or 60,000 kids under you all. If all of you together decide that we want to make a difference in the lives of children, we want to create children who are not only having public victory, but also a strong sense of private victory. We create children who are not just motivated by fear and reward, but actually motivated by duty and love. That is when we are going towards a massive transformation. This curriculum that we're going to be talking about has already been implemented in almost about 10 schools. And at this point in time, we are touching the lives of at least about 20,000 kids. But I strongly believe if this curriculum can reach out to more and more kids, if all of you are sitting in this room today decide that I want to implement this curriculum no matter what, we can easily touch the lives of 50,000 children. And 50,000 children is a generation. If these 50,000 children learn this curriculum over a period of 10 years, you are influencing an entire generation of powerful thinkers. So, what I really want you all to think and understand is these are two ways of living life. One is based on the clock. Most of us, we are living life based on the clock. What is living life based on the clock? Constantly looking at time. Time is ticking. I know for all of you, time is ticking, You all want to run back to your schools and so many projects, and so many important meetings and so many agendas waiting for all of you. That's the first way of looking at life. At the time, at the speed of the clock. When I reached Mumbai for the first time, I lived most of my life in Goa, very small state of India, and a very peaceful and a laid-back life. After I passed out from my engineering college and I reached Bombay for the first time, I got the shock of my life to see all over Bombay, in railway stations, such big clocks put up there. I had never seen clocks in my entire life publicly displayed. And I saw these big clocks, and not only clocks, they had seconds also. And people are running like crazy. And when I went for the first time to Dadar, and I saw a number of people that are there, Probably Dadar itself has more people than whole of Mathura put together, A massive number of people running at full speed. I stopped one guy and I asked him, where are you running so fast? And this guy is telling me I will catch the 4:28 p.m. train. I never knew that there is something called 4:28 also, And actually the train came at 4:28 to make it even more shocking for me. So, people, the way the world is functioning today is making you run at the speed of the clock. But we also need a compass to show you which direction to run. Imagine if you're running at full speed and you don't know which direction to run. And I was once traveling on a highway and this was the middle of the night with 3-4 of us in the car and we were traveling on a really big highway. This was pre-GPS time and we reached a point where there was a left side and a right side and we didn't know which road to take. All the 4 of us were equally ignorant because no guy on the street, no boards over there. And we decided to toss a coin. Heads means left, tails means right. We tossed a coin and it came tails and we went, And then this driver was not able to press the accelerator. We're telling him, Baba, we need to reach this place, please go fast. He's not able to, he doesn't have the heart to press the accelerator. After about 10 kilometers, we found a guy on the road and we asked him, how did you go to this place? He said, hey, you came in the wrong direction. Go back 10 kilometers and take that road. After that, this fellow, speeding up at 120, I was shocked to see the difference, In the first case, he didn't have the guts to press the accelerator because he knew something is wrong. He was not sure of the direction. But in the second case, because he got clarity on the direction, he could go very fast. All of us, all the children that come to us, we are teaching them to run at the speed of the clock. Timetables, schedules, exams, so much of workload and homework, and we're teaching them everything that it takes to get them running at the speed of the clock. But it is also our moral responsibility to teach them which direction to run. After you tell them run in this direction, then let them run fast, no problem. They will reach the destination faster. But if you don't tell them which direction to run and you keep telling them to run, they are only at some point going to feel, I am running a useless race. At some point they are going to feel life is not complete. They would reach the peak of the ladder of success, but after reaching the peak of the ladder of success, they will realize the key to happiness is missing. And therefore, we all need a curriculum that actually helps children get the right direction in life. So what I have created over the last many years is a curriculum that exactly does this. We call this curriculum as the conscious student. Why do we call this curriculum the conscious student? Because these are the kind of students we want to create. Students who are conscious. Today, most schools are creating students who are unconscious. They are working like robots. They are working like machines. They just know how they run. They don't know where they are running. They don't know why they are running. They don't know which direction they are running. Conscious students means we want to create students who think, who are aware, who understand themselves, who understand their situations, who understand their emotions, who understand other people, and who understand God eventually. And that's what the word of conscious students is. So to help us, teach this curriculum to the students, we have created an entire curriculum from 1st standard to 10th standard. The full curriculum is ready. For every single standard, we have a full-fledged curriculum ready, and we have it displayed at the back also. After this session is over, I will give all of you all the opportunity to actually hold the curriculum in your hands, have a look and feel of the whole curriculum. So I started an organization called Veda. It is a non-profit organization specifically meant for the purpose of value education, specifically meant for the purpose of teaching values to children. This curriculum is based on books that I have written. I have written close to about 60 books now, and many of these books have become bestsellers across India. And these books are the textbooks for the curriculum. So from 1st standard to 10th standard, every single standard, we have one book as a textbook for it. So we have a textbook, we have a workbook. So this, what you see right in front of you, are textbooks. Based on these textbooks, these are the workbooks. Along with the workbooks, to teach the workbook and the textbook, we have created what is called as teacher's manuals. Every single workbook has a teacher's manual accompanying it. The teacher's manual is like the key, which will help you unlock the curriculum, and you can all teach it. So if somebody has a teacher's manual, the workbook and the textbooks, they can teach the curriculum, they don't need me. I have made a self-sufficient curriculum. A curriculum that any teacher who has it in her hand can teach it nicely. Along with all of this, we also have PowerPoint presentations. For every single session across the year, for 10 standards, we have PPTs. So you don't have to do anything literally. You only have to take it, give it to your teachers, and train them. That's it. And the teachers can teach the children. So you don't need any external intervention. You don't need anybody from outside coming in. You only have to choose your own teachers, and we'll train them up. And they can first class teach the curriculum from 1st to 10th standard. So I'm just going to quickly give you all an overview of what the curriculum looks like, okay, in terms of the content. 1st standard, we're teaching something called as good habits. So the 1st standard is a video-based curriculum. So for every single class in the 1st standard, we will show them videos, and based on the videos, there will be activities. You can see on the slide, what you see is essentially the workbook, the insides of the workbook. That's how it will look. The videos are very age appropriate, animated videos, very beautifully done. Along with the videos, we have workbook activities. That means what exactly the teacher needs to teach to the children from the video. That means all the good manners that children need to learn, like cleanliness, honesty, friendliness, respecting elders, all of those values that children at that age, 1st standard, need to learn, is there in the teachers' manuals and the workbooks. 2nd standard is a book called Little Blue Book on Krishna. I wrote a book on Krishna's life. Many unheard and beautiful stories of Krishna's life taught through activities. So for this textbook, there is a workbook along with it and a teacher's manual. The workbook is designed in a way that the children will not only learn stories of Krishna's life, but also learn values that they can learn from the stories of Krishna's life. So they will not only learn to fall in love with Krishna, but they will also learn some valuable lessons that they can apply in their life. The third standard is called Panchatantra. So I have designed a curriculum based on a book called Panchatantra which I have written. This has 54 stories in it. And this Panchatantra can be taught in over 2 years. There are 2 workbooks to it. And Panchatantra is a very powerful book that can teach children so many amazing things about life and values that are there in it through stories. Again, there's a workbook, there's a textbook, there's a teacher's manual and PowerPoint presentations. The fourth standard has a curriculum called Hanuman Chalisa. So in this book, every single word of Hanuman Chalisa is explained through stories of Hanumanji. So the idea is that most kids today, at least they know to recite Hanuman Chalisa probably. But how many people actually know the meaning of Hanuman Chalisa? So through stories of Hanumanji, we are teaching them values of life and the meaning of Hanuman Chalisa. That's what this book is about. So again, it has a textbook, workbook, teacher's manual, and quick plan PowerPoint presentations. Then I've written 2 books. The first book is called Timeless Tales to Ignite Your Mind and Ancient Wisdom to Elevate Your Mind. So these 2 books have 50 stories each, and each story is from ancient India. Stories of Tenali Raman, Vikram Betal, and so many of these amazing stories that we have heard in our childhood. But from each of these stories, there are valuable lessons that children can learn in their lives. And to teach both of these textbooks, we have 2 workbooks. So this particular subject can be implemented over 2 standards also. The 6th standard has Bhagavad Gita for children. I have written 2 books on Bhagavad Gita for children to teach Bhagavad Gita shlokas through stories. So that means the most important themes of Bhagavad Gita explained through simple stories and beautiful lessons that they can learn from it. Again, the entire Bhagavad Gita can be taught through activities and worksheets, etc., which are there in the workbook. 7th and 8th standard is a curriculum based on Ramayana. I have written a 6-volume series called Ramayana, the Game of Life, which is one of the best-selling series across India. Tens and thousands of people from across India have read this series and across the world actually, and they have loved this series. It teaches Ramayana with life lessons, how you can apply the teachings of Ramayana in your life. So this entire series is covered through 2 standards, 7th standard and 8th standard. So that is how the 7th and 8th standard are to teach the entire Ramayana. 9th standard is based on a book of mine called Open-Eyed Meditations. This book is one of my best books. This book has 64 chapters in it. Each chapter talks about how students can learn to deal with problems they face in life through stories from Ramayana Mahabharata. That means every single problem that you face in life, whether it's dealing with success, dealing with failures, dealing with so many issues that you face in life, all of it seen through lenses of Ramayana Mahabharata. That is what this book is called, Open-Eyed Meditations. So they will get to understand their life based on these epics. And finally, the 10th standard is a curriculum called The Magic of Friendship. So this is a book I have written called Magic of Friendship, which is specifically meant for teenagers to understand how to make friends, how to keep friends, and how to choose friends. It's a very, very powerful book, which is a very, very useful book for teenagers at this point in time, in this age in life. And this book is again having a workbook and a textbook and a teacher's manual associated with it. So that's how the entire curriculum is based. Just to help you understand, 1st standard to 4th standard, every curriculum that we have created, all the sessions that we created, we have 35 sessions of 1 hour each. For 1st to 4th standard, 35 sessions of 1 hour each. From 5th to 9th standard, we have 35 sessions of 35 minutes to 40 minutes each, basically 1 period time. And for 10th standard, we have 15 sessions of 35 minutes each. So So that is what the whole curriculum is designed. The way the curriculum is designed is that the teachers have practically everything on their plate. They only need half an hour preparation time. If they get half an hour to 45 minutes of preparation time, they can prepare well and present wonderfully. And the children will love it, they will learn so much from it. That is how this whole curriculum is based. Many schools have this issue that they may not be able to implement a full-fledged dharmic curriculum, like Hanuman Chalisa or Bhagavad, etc. For them, we have a second solution. So we have two types of curriculums. One is a full-fledged dharmic curriculum. If you want all of what I told you, you can implement it as it is. Many schools, including Bhaktivedanta Mission School here right now, Bhaktivedanta Gurukul here right now, is implementing the entire curriculum as it is, including Ramayana, Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, etc. But for those schools that may prefer a secular version, we have that also. So I have 4 more workbooks other than what I showed you right now, which can be also implemented. So that means first and second standard. First standard we teach good habits. Second standard I have another book called Teacher Nature, where children learn through stories from nature on how to develop deeper values in life. Third and fourth standard we teach Panchatantra. We have 2 workbooks of Panchatantra and we taught over third and fourth standard. Fifth and sixth standard we teach Stories of India. We have 2 workbooks based on those 2 books called Stories of India. Then 7th and 8th standard I have created another book called Plug into Happiness. That's another book that I have written. Based on that, we teach children through stories how they can be happy individuals. Nowadays, in many companies across the world, they're actually having something known as happiness coaching, where they're teaching people how to be happy in life, how to live a balanced life. We teach that in school itself, so that children understand how to have a more balanced approach towards life. So then 8th standard, we have another subject called Personality Development and Life Skills, which is another workbook that is just coming up. And then 9th standard we have Open Eye Meditations, and 10th standard we have Magical Friendship. So that way, this whole curriculum becomes a completely secular curriculum, right? So if you want a full dharmic curriculum, we have that. But if you want a fully secular curriculum, we have that. But all of it is based on Indian values. All of it is based on books that are very much Indian, very much based on what is known as Indian knowledge system. This curriculum is the cheapest curriculum you can ever get in your life. I'm telling you right away. You cannot get a cheaper curriculum than this. The cost for you to implement this curriculum in your school per child, if you only want workbooks and do not want textbooks, is 200 rupees per child per year. That's all. And if you want textbooks and workbooks together, it will cost you 500 rupees per child per year. That's it. Practically, you get an entire value education curriculum for 1 full year for one child at the cost of 1 pizza. That's it. If simply one child eats 1 pizza less, they get a full-fledged curriculum for 1 full year. I don't think you can get anything cheaper than this. And the reason we have kept this curriculum so cheap is simply so that we can have more and more children benefiting from it. The idea is not to make profit at all. Our goal has never been money. Our goal has never been to make money. But our goal is simply to teach more and more children. So I highly recommend all of you all to have a look at the curriculum at the back after the session is over. We can have a question answer discussion right now based on whatever I spoke. But please have a look at the curriculum so that you can actually get a feel of it. You can actually see the quality. I have not cut any corners. The quality of the textbooks, the quality of the workbooks are top class. The quality of the PPTs, the quality of the teacher's manual, everything is top class. We have put our blood and sweat into this. And I can tell you, if your schools implement this curriculum and your teachers get trained up to use this curriculum, the children will love it. They will have a great experience, they will have great learning. So by the end of 10 years, if the entire dharmic curriculum is implemented, the child will know Hanuman Chalisa, they will know Krishna's life, they will know Ramayana, they will know Mahabharata, they will know Panchatantra, they will know so many of our epics. absolutely perfectly and they can implement it in their lives. And even if you take a secular curriculum, still the kind of exposure the children will get is immense. There is so much that they will learn. So, you all are very good at academics, I understand that. But unfortunately, value education is considered to be a free period in most schools. Unfortunately, the very thing that is the third pillar of education is considered a free period. And the reason it is considered a free period is because no teacher knows what to teach in that period. There is no fixed curriculum to teach in that period. And whatever is available in the market is designed just to fill a gap. It is not really a solution. It is more like a stopgap solution. But what we have for you is actually a solution where this has been designed by educators who are serious about education. We have followed something called Panchakosh. In education pedagogy, there is a very powerful system in India called Panchakosh, where at every level of the child's growth, there is particular values that the child needs to learn. So this whole curriculum has been designed based on Panchakosh, keeping Panchakosh in mind. So that particular age, first standard, what the child needs to learn, that is being taught. Second standard, what the child needs to know, that is being taught. So that way we have designed it so it's a very versatile curriculum, it's a very powerful curriculum, and yet it's a very, very exciting curriculum for the children to learn. I'll stop at this point in time. I'm really grateful to all of you all for taking out your valuable time and being here. I'm hoping that this curriculum has inspired all of you all to consider thinking about it. But more than that, I am hoping that all of you all actually put this curriculum to use and actually implement it in your school. If any of the schools are actually planning to take the curriculum, I will personally train your teachers on how to use the curriculum. And I will personally hand over to your teachers till your teachers actually understand how to implement the curriculum. We are doing a lot of training for teachers of this school also. Similarly, we do training for teachers of all your schools and make sure that teachers actually get it and the curriculum is used very nicely. Anybody has any questions, comments, anything to discuss? Please let me know.
First, let us start.
Yes, sir.
The biggest challenge which we face in education system, like as you spoke about teenagers. So most teenagers are getting into addictions, a lot of addictions, which is a big concern for all of us. Mathura is untouched. We don't talk about it, but yes, this is the truth, this is a fact. But yes, a lot of schools, a lot of teachers are facing when problem reaches them, they say we can't continue. Parents also know it. So there are different kind of addictions, starting from the mobile phone, the TVs. We all know what kind of content is there in front of them, and other kind of addictions also. So how to deal with it?
So that's exactly what we're talking about, sir. The way we have created the curriculum is to help children understand what is right and what is wrong from their childhood. See what happens? The problem with most schools and colleges across the world is that teachers and educators, they panic when the water has gone above their head. But the solution is not to find a solution when the water has gone above your head. The solution is to go right from the basics and develop. So what we are doing is that right from first standard all the way to 10th standard we are training kids. So overcoming addiction is not something that is a one-day process. It is a continuous process. And overcoming addiction, it's actually a mindset development process. So from the first standard onwards, if we start implementing a curriculum like this, it will 100% impact the mind, the thinking of children. And I would really like many of the teachers from this school, the principal from the school, to actually talk about what has happened here in this school from the time we have started thinking in this direction about value education, and the impact that it has caused their children. I can bring so many other schools from Bombay and from Pune where educators can help you understand what is the impact of this kind of education in children. Therefore, my suggestion to all of you all is that do not look for short-term solutions. Look for something long-term. The impact of this you'll understand maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line. But the impact will be a generational impact, right? So if we want to create children that are not into such addictions, not into such bad habits, we have to start giving them values. There is no other way to overcome it, right? So unfortunately, the present day education system is not geared towards doing that. And that is why we are suggesting something like this. Okay? Ma'am, would you like to speak a little bit about it? Radha, would you like to speak? Just to add to that.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Actually, you see, I have been in this field of education for 15 years now. I joined in Vrindavan when the school was in Vrindavan, and we shifted here in 2019. So I always dreamt of such a curriculum, because we all know, even in ISKCON, we knew many stories, but which story to tell to which age, and having activities for them, workbook for them. So it was always a dream that maybe one day somebody will come out with a systematic, well-designed, age-appropriate, well-researched curriculum. And that is what exactly we did 1 year back. And when I got to know this, we are so happy. Immediately we started implementing it in our school. It has been 9 months now. We started from the new session. We've actually seen that boys like Hanuman Chalisa, that's such a big hit among boys, because they all know Hanuman Chalisa, but the way he has explained in the book, lessons from each every line from Hanuman Chalisa, the boys really love it. Similarly, Ramayana. Now the way he has taken out lessons from each and every story of Ramayana, that is something the boys really love, and they're actually seeing them. The biggest change which I can say is that they're actually taking these stories, they're internalizing these stories. And once they, like he mentioned in his lecture, that Max Muller said the reason why the value system was so strong in India, because people believed in Ramayana and Mahabharata. And when that started happening from an early age, I'm sure, like you were saying, these problems that we face now will not be faced by students. That's our practical experience.
Hare Krishna. I would just like to tell you, I just joined the school just one year. Last January I joined the school, and for the last 23 years I was with so-called secular school. I was with the central government organization and the Navodaya Vidyalayas, as you know, they're very famous for the residential schools. And again, what Sir has just now mentioned, we used to only fill the gap. The last period or some arrangement classes would be for value-based education. After coming here, this last April when we revamped the timetable, I don't know, I was the first when we said we will give the value-based education classes first period. Usually we always start giving physics, chemistry, maths. These are the subjects we say. But then we said no. Because in our schools, in the very first period, when teachers come, they are also with the enthusiasm they can also teach. Otherwise the values get lost at the end of the day. So this is what the first change we got in the school. And this Ramayana series which Sir has written, it is a national bestseller. I was introduced to this book a long time back by my sister, who has come all the way. She came to this program, only she flew back from Hyderabad and she has come here. She is a group captain in Indian Air Force. And she was the one who introduced me to these books first. And when she felt Shubh Vilas Prabhu is coming, she said, no, I have to be here and watch it live. It was very difficult to meet Sir. And these books, I would want all of you, I'm not trying to do a salesmanship here, but I tell you this is the right platform for you to at least have a copy of yours. And of course the author is here, you can also get autograph by him. You should read it. Because it's not simply the story part of it is, but then the footnotes, they are so wonderfully designed. And it's not for the child, it's also for us. We are also stressed out. We also don't know how to manage our life. We have become adults, we have grew up. We have all the success, if you say, matters of money and family and children. But then, at the end of the day, how many of us are really happy? And what is the definition of that happiness? these books which tell us. And I see now, about 6 months back, we had a seminar in Jaipur, in one of the beautiful hotels or something like that, and really glossy brochures, and people coming and talking, and people advising us, why don't you use those mobile phones in the classroom? Laptop should be the in thing in the classrooms. And I was wondering, and they was talking about values and all that. And when it comes to, as a principal, you can't go and buy that stuff also. Because they said our people will come and train and all. And now Shubh Vilas Prabhu is talking, cost of pizza is the cost of that curriculum, the book, the way each child has to play. Not only that, it's only we people who can also convince the parents. The parents also need education. And it is like, when a mother reads this book, not only she is teaching, but she is also learning something. And values are not one-time activities. They are a lifelong activity. So I feel, at least I'm into it, and I'm sure all my principal friends will also come into it. And you will see, and of course we are very much grateful to the principal from SND Public School, Palwal, with so many students. Whenever the students come to this school for any kind of competitions, firstly they bag all the prizes, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam and all. And secondly, their behavior, the way they approach girls and the boys, with the way they behave. That's what is making the difference. Sometimes we feel walking along with the students or walking behind the students also these days is a dangerous zone. We don't know what will they blurt out and what will we hear and how ashamed we would feel. That will not happen once we introduce this kind of a curriculum. I'm not saying that we have to only take up the curriculum what Shubh Vilas sir has done it. But if somebody is coming with this kind of a curriculum, we are always going to take it. And for last 2 years, as I already told you, we wanted sir to come here, but this was a busy schedule, he could not. And once he came, again we did not want to be selfish. We wanted this also to share with all you good people, and we thought it's going to help. Because students across are all ours. And not that we can't engage him, yesterday also we had about 1.5 hours of session with the students. Today morning it was only 10 minutes we decided, but then the children only really wanted more time because we did not want our day scholars to be deprived. So again we had a very wonderful talk with sir, and the best part is the stories. Every one of us, as a child within us, always wants to listen to the stories. And these stories, when they really touch the core, we feel so happy. And after the assembly, I quickly went, and like any elder sister, went and started sharing the story with my sister. So the relevant story, and that's what has been told. So this is it. And let's all try. Let's all experiment. Let's see. It's not a huge cost. And you can imagine a person coming and trying to train, doing the personalized training, hand holding, how many of them do it? Most of the time, I've been, as a principal, I've been buying some software, some kind of a curriculum. They're all like insurance policies. Until unless they don't sell the policy to you, they are very nice and sweet to you, giving you all big promises, making huge promises, and you'll get your brain on this. Once you pay, everything is over, and then you run after them. Sir, आगे क्या? तो बस मेरा आपसे यही निवेदन है, बिकॉज देखिए ये जो चीज है हमने अपनाया है, हमने देखा है, इसका इम्पैक्ट भी है. और एक बात मैं बता दूं आपको, हम कोई फैक्ट्री रन नहीं कर रहे. अक्सर लोग पूछते हैं कि आपका इसका ये क्या है, इसका प्रोडक्शन क्या है, या इसमें आपको क्या प्रॉफिट मिल रहा है. हम कोई फैक्ट्री रन नहीं कर रहे. हम बच्चों के भविष्य बना रहे हैं। और जो चेंज आता है, कभी भी छोटी सी कली को देख आप देखते रहेंगे तो कभी फूल तो बनता नहीं है, कब बन जाता है वही जानते हैं। ठीक है, कितने भी पावरफुल कैमरा सब लगा लो, आपको पता नहीं होता। One moment when that flower, that bud would bloom into a beautiful flower. और वही बात है कि हम अगर इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करें, जैसे सर ने बताया, 5 years down the line, we will find excellent changes in our students. And I always, this is one of my favorite lines, all the caterpillars we have now, one day they will become the beautiful butterflies. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your patience. And if you have any more questions, it's like we are also serving you lunch. You can have it informally also, you can ask questions. And the books are also for your display, you can also go through them. And ma'am is a bit in a hurry, but I would say that without having lunch from here, you will really miss the lunch. You should have the prashadam here. Please have it, this lunch is already ready. Our quick lunch. And the rest of you also.
Yeah, just one or two small announcements, quick announcement.
Yeah.
We have designed a beautiful certificate for all of you, personally signed by Shubh Vilas Prabhu.
Oh,
So that's why we asked you to write your names. I have all of you written the names, the sheet of paper. So quickly, Abhinav, the certificates are ready. Yeah, so already signed by Roji, we just put in your names. So please take that, and we have a small gift of Bhagavad Gita for all of you. Are the Bhagavad Gitas ready? Yes. Okay, we have a copy of Bhagavad Gita for you. And we have a few books of Shubh Vilas Prabhu, the Ramayana series, which you can buy and take with you. And the workbooks, you can have a look at them. So workbooks is for display. And the books, we have some extra copies, you can take it and Prabhuji can sign on them. And one more thing, like I told in the beginning, there's another curriculum that is 5 important topics of Bhagavad Gita, which we can do course for your teachers or for even senior students. So that book also you can have a look. That's written by our director himself, who is the director of IT Mandi now, Dr. Lakshmi Dabir. That's a very scientific book. Because sometimes, senior boys 11, 12, they don't believe in God. So that book is more based on the modern science. How do we accept God's existence? It gives beautiful examples, This is a small bacteria called E. coli bacteria, which has a motor which is in nanoscale, nanomotor. So there are hundreds of PhDs being done to understand one small bacteria. So imagine what is the creation of God. So like that he gives beautiful examples, which is, boys with scientific temperament, those who don't believe in God, they say very soul. So all these things are there. That is also one book, you can have a look at that. So please collect your Bhagavad Gita certificates, and Prabhuji is there available for next half an hour, there you go. And Prabhuji will of course go back, he's flying back to Bombay tomorrow. And but we both are there. So we'll facilitate. So if you just tell us that you want to follow the curriculum, we'll help you completely. Right? All you have to do, like Prabhuji said, just order the workbooks.
We just have a Zoom meeting also with all your
Correct. So once you decide to take the curriculum, so we can have a Zoom meeting with Prabhuji and he will also guide the trainer teachers. So once again, thank you very much. Some teachers are in a hurry to go. We'll end the program, and once again, thank you all. Let's chant our Mahamantra. Special thanks to Shubh Vilas Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.